What's going on, everybody? Sajid coming at you here from what I am now affectionately referring to as my chair of wisdom. This is a chair that's been in my family for at least a decade, if not 15 plus years. And it's something that I brought with me to DC, just part of family history. And I feel like when I sit in this chair and have this beautiful view and just ponder, there's some good thoughts that come to me. And today's thought and topic is, do you want to be faster or more flexible? And I've been doing a lot of studying and researching and tinkering with things on my own about trying to get faster, trying to get stronger, trying to get better. Everything we do to fortify ourselves to go harder at our objectives, I've been asking myself, is that more valuable, or is it being more flexible, being more resilient, being more adaptable, being more adept to making changes? And that's a very interesting question. And I think a lot of people didn't start answering that question for themselves till COVID came, where we were forced to stop and essentially the world stopped and we had to make a decision, and we were not given an option to just be stronger and move through things. Of course, there is a level of strength and resilience in moving forward, so I'm not going to say that that's not the case. But outside of that, a lot of businesses, a lot of people in their lives, whether it was with their family relationships, whether it was with their personal goals, their fitness, the way they ate, the way they got their food, the way they went about socializing with friends, all of that had to shift. And one of the biggest things that I took through COVID, and I had my own challenges through that season as well, was the ability to be flexible, the ability to be adaptable. And in our environment in 2025, the world is changing at a crazy fast pace. And I do believe that there is a level of not just changing with the world and having some solidarity in your ways. And I think there's a lot of traditional values or traditional practices that are still very relevant. Things like seeing your friends in person, seeing your family in person. If there's opportunities to meet up with your coworkers in person, there's value behind that. I've even in the past worked in an office setting and now work fully remote. And there is a ton of value to all of your colleagues and coworkers being in the same location. I absolutely love working remote, love being able to, kind of snack throughout the day, do my own laundry, run errands, get my job accomplished, which I still do and I do very well. But I really appreciate the flexibility I have now, but also the environment that I was in before. And I feel as we get older, as time progresses, that flexibility and adaptability is becoming more relevant than strength and speed, because oftentimes when we're moving so fast in one direction, the objective changes and we have to pivot. And I have this in several examples in my life. One of them is my fitness journey. Right now, I know that I keep mentioning my age, and I don't know if I'm saying this just because I'm excited to be 30 or I'm preparing myself mentally to be 30. But I know that just trying to get stronger, just trying to lift more weight, just trying to be bigger and bulkier and have more mass on me in the gym, it isn't going to accomplish the objectives that I want in my life. I want a long, healthy, prosperous life with a body that holds up during that whole period of time. And I know that being able to deadlift 5 more pounds, that's not going to be the reason that I have a more resilient body and a body that can withstand more and adapt to more. I love sports, whether it's running, whether it's playing soccer or tennis, or doing something like snowboarding or going on the lake and going wakeboarding. And all of these sports have injuries involved. And all of these sports have the requirement that you have to be able to rebound from these injuries. Certainly, if you're a professional athlete, that is super important. But even if you're a recreational athlete and you just want to do it again, there is a level of rebounding that comes from being more flexible. And so in my fitness journey, it's also very helpful that I have an apartment that has a nice gym and an area to stretch. But I'm going down essentially almost every morning, if not 5 out of 7 days of the week, and I'm stretching. And I'm doing that and not working out at all in the mornings. I'll run or do a workout after work, after I've done business activities, work activities, personal activities. And stretching is actually giving me the ability to rebound faster and therefore go faster in my endeavors. Stretching has allowed me to run faster. It's allowed me to recover and not be as sore. It's allowed me to be able to perform the next day. And it puts my head in a mental space that I'm being flexible and I'm building my flexibility so that I can be resilient. And that flexibility applies to any sport and any physical endeavor that I have. And within only a week and a half of doing this, I've seen tremendous results, both mentally, both in my breathing patterns, or also in my breathing patterns, and just also in my general mental state, because my body doesn't hold this tension. It's not holding all this energy. And as good as it is to be big and to have size and to have strength, our bodies are not meant to be permanently in that state. At some point, they will decompose. At some point, they will break down. And at that point, it may be too late to have implemented those procedures to have a healthy, whole, long-lasting body. And that's just fitness. In my work journey, I have learned that there's a lot of shifts in the economy. And for what I do, I work with business owners. And so my communication has had to adjust significantly when calling a business owner and trying to set an appointment with them, and then running that appointment and knowing the things that we're going to discuss and the topics we're going to uncover. What I was doing this time last year is not an effective strategy to win at this point this year. And so there's a lot of flexibility that comes year to year making that pivot. But even week to week, I make micro adjustments, and day to day, I make micro adjustments. And so our flexibility actually dictates our ability to move faster, because if we don't have a flexibility and adaptability to the direction that we're going in, we can never commit and attack that direction in the way that we need to, because we're unsure if the direction we're even attacking is worth it. And so that's been a very helpful life lesson and self-conversation. And that applies to social relationships as well, being flexible to the type of person you may be interacting with and interested in a romantic relationship, the type of people you think you can develop friendships with, and knowing that your friends kind of belong in one bucket, but now you're in a new city and you have to adapt to a different type of people and a different type of friendships and different type of activities. And life is so beautiful because we can be flexible. What you did last year can be completely different from what you do this year, and you can still have a healthy, fulfilled life because you've made those adaptations. So I'm excited for you guys to adapt a mindset of flexibility instead of just speed and strength, and be able to embrace the fact that life is ever changing. If you live in a world that requires you to be adaptable, be ahead of the curve, and then know how to focus and target the direction that you're moving in, so that when you do need to be strong, when you do need to be fast, you can move in that direction and do it really well. So excited for you guys to take this and run with it, and hope you have an awesome day.